all that has been jeopardized in our life, you know, and a psychosocial environment is almost absent. We don't interact with people these days, and these measures of lockdown has a very potential to threaten the very existence of our life. We are existing, but we question our existence, you know. Oh my God, how do we live? How do we move forward? What is it? Will religion help? Will this help? So there's so many questions hovering in our mind most of the time, and we do not know the answer of these questions. The current crisis has given us though opportunities for personal growth, which I'm going to elaborate in my talk, but and family cohesion, but the disadvantage has overweight. We all know there's more monetary loss, there's job loss, there's so much of loss. So it is a humongous thing, you know. It is something which can we, it has been damaging us so much that can we come back? I'm sorry I'm sounding gloomy, but this is how it is. Can we come back? Can we get back our mental peace? Would we be able to lead a normal life? So many questions every morning when you get up. You know, I also read a joke somewhere, you know, that when you go to the market, we don't see the virus, but when we look at the TV, we feel that we are going to die. We're not going to live. So that is how it is. Um, yeah, so the common presentation of psychological disturbances that we often come across, whether it's adolescents, children, or adults, of course, it's the face of it is different. So depression, which would mean sadness of mood, has become very rampant. Anxiety and fear of contacting with illness. You don't even feel coming closer to people. You want to be away because you're doubting on you knowing that every first person is a COVID-19. So there's a distance. So it actually hampers my psychological work. I want to reach out to people, I want to talk to them, but I say stay away, a little stay away from me. So all this is actually creating a lot of anxiety. There's also a persistent preoccupation. You may have realized that when you're talking to people, you're only talking of this. Is there anything else we talk? And then we remember, oh, enough of COVID, so let's talk something else. But we have been only talking about COVID, and then somehow we have realized that our inability to cope to some degree and some degree of dysfunction has happened. The coping skill has been reduced. Our, you know, our functional level has been reduced. Our sleep and appetite has been reduced. And among adolescents and even children, we see a lot of oppositional behavior, anger, irritability, and a lot of substance abuse among young adults. It has become very common because that becomes their coping skill. A child at home gets very easily irritated, you know, and they would not listen to the parents. There's no schedule for them, and they are as confused as we are. Of course, their expression is different, but they're as confused as we are. You know, the depressive, I would like to introduce you to the depressive disorders and its symptoms that is commonly found. So the symptoms could be low mood, decrease or loss of capacity to enjoy things. You don't want to enjoy things. When you're in depression, you don't want to enjoy things. There's fatigue. I personally feel the fatigue and loss of energy because I'm so scared that I may have it one day. I will have it. So when I meet people in my hospital and I know that this person has COVID and that person has COVID, it shakes all of us. Each one of us have been shaken by this, which brings about loss of energy, which brings about enough fatigue, you know, and a very unique kind of restlessness all over. There is reduction of activity. You are not, adolescents, children are not able to concentrate, nor are adults able to concentrate in their work because you are preoccupied. Your mind is preoccupied. You forget things. You do not want to concentrate. So all these online courses that is happening is of course become the need of the hour. But I see a lot of them complaining to me that I cannot concentrate. I cannot do anything. There's memory loss. There's one thing very importantly seen and very substantially seen in patients with depression is loss of esteem, loss of self-confidence. So, you know, you lose confidence in yourself. You do not, you start disregarding yourself. You start dismissing yourself. And almost all of my patients who are coming to me with depression due to COVID are showing these two symptoms of loss of self-esteem and loss of confidence. And I tell them the self-esteem is something which should not be linked with anything. We should not be linked with crisis. We should not be linked with pandemic. Self-esteem is ours. We are born with it. But it's very difficult for them to develop this, all over again. And death wishes have become very common. Suicidal thoughts attempts have become very common. Now, let me share this with you. After the celebrity death, Sushant Singh Rajput's suicide attempt, I have seen, I'm, I'm actually maintaining the statistic, 25 patients, youngsters who have come and told me that, why should I exist? If this can happen to somebody who has everything in this world, I don't see why should I mean, and a lot of these youngsters have come and told me that I want to die. There's somebody who called me up at 12 o'clock in the night and said that, what is there to live? Why should we live? Do we have anything to live for? Is there any motivation? So I had to tell that girl that, please hold on. Tomorrow we'll meet. Postpone your program for today. We'll meet tomorrow. And then I kept talking to her, kept holding on to her as much as I could on the phone, holding hands with her and telling her that, no, just wait, just wait, just wait. So next morning when she came to me, I said, what is, she said, I have postponed and I think life is worth living. So I asked her, what is it that made you rethink? Which strategy of mine helped you to rethink? She said, none of them. The very fact that somebody was ready to talk to me in the midnight made me feel that the world is worth living. So this hand holding is so important. This assurance to the person is so important. And we as adults can do it to the children. You as a teacher, you as an adult, you as people who are coming to your to the church, we can do it so well for them. We can hold, all that we need is that listen with your heart. And this is how we have been able to deal with suicidal patients. And believe me, they are in surge. There's one girl who's learning acting, and she has to go to Prague, Europe, to learn acting. She says, what is the point? I'll be wasting so much of money. And if I don't get, even if I get into acting, and even if I get somewhere, I may end up being Sushant Singh Rajput. I may end up killing myself. So I had to tell her, I had to really support her mentally, emotionally, and said, and that death is not an answer. That is not the answer. So this is how, since I've been working a lot on suicide, so I'm talking at length about it. And so these have become very death wishes, tell you, we have now currently 2 patients in our ward who have indulged in, in self-harm. They would beat their head on the, why? We have nothing to do. I can't study, I can't go ahead. There's no future for me, there's no career for me. So people with poor coping skill may end up, in this way, may end up completely broken. So this happens in this world, this happens among ourselves. This is a question that all of us are facing today. You as teachers, me as a psychologist, you as a bishop, all of us are facing this question, and it is becoming more and more difficult to handle. There is depression, which is one side of the coin, and there's anxiety, which is other side of the coin. So the depression would mean low mood, sadness, what will happen to me, what has happened to me, why, just mulling and just being there, you're not wanting to come out of that spiral. But what is anxiety? Anxiety is persistent nervousness and tension. Adolescents have become very prone to it. They're always on the edge. There's always this competition, there's always this competitive world that they have to face, and they're falling down. There's always this fear of not settling in life. So this irritability, very irritable with parents, very irritable with relatives, very irritable with teachers, very angry, and they don't know why they're angry. And then in anxiety, which is very important, your muscle gets extremely tensed, and then you cannot concentrate, you cannot sleep. And sleep is the most important important thing for us. I often say that we should sleep well, eat well, and exercise well. So these are the three important components of healthy life. But where is the adolescent going to listen to it? They indulge in burgers, they indulge in pizza. I have a young adult son in my house, and every fourth, third day, तुम कुछ मंगवाती नहीं हो. I want this, I want a burger. I mean, me being a clinical psychologist, but my son is also doing that. Sometimes I get very, so, I had to kind of restrict it to once a week. And that too, after you have done certain job, as a token economy, I would, of course, allow you to have one. But as parents, you have to be also firm with them. Excessive, sometimes, people also have a palpitation, excessive sweating, and a lot of gastric discomfort. So anxiety, and I'll give you an example of what is difference between anxiety and depression. There's this man who comes out, and he has to go to the office, and he unfortunately he puts his leg on a cow dung, and his shoes are all spoiled. So how would an anxiety person behave? Oh my god, now it's done with. I am going to be, I'm going to be late for my office, and my boss is going to yell at me, and it's going to be horrible for me. So he's thinking of what is going to happen, presuming catastrophing. That is, and how would a depressed behave? He would, he would self-talk. I'm the most unfortunate person on this earth. It happens to me only. I am the most miserable person. God has chosen me for misery. So this is how an anxiety and a depression person would generally react in such a situation. But this also happens because of the same chemicals in the brain, serotonin. The serotonin gets affected, and you either have anxiety or you have depression. Is it all right? Am I going clear? Am I clear? I guess so.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah. And we should also see the symptoms of panic and phobia, which is becoming very common. We are panicking. We are panicking. We are panicking so much these days, as we're getting panic symptoms. A lot of our patients who are coming to our casualty are basically psychogenic in nature. They think that they have heart attacks, so they have come, but they are basically psychogenic in nature. Patient might feel that they are about to die or lose control or go mad. People may develop excessive fear of crowds in the wake of COVID-19. They get housebound, which is also agoraphobia. Then we have obsessive compulsive disorder, because as it is, they're washing their hands more, so it actually increases that that behavior, and that rumination, that thought, unwanted thought, it should not happen to me, it will not happen to me, and many other unwanted thoughts, they actually exaggerate during panic and phobia and anxiety. uh, so how do we help them? How do we help these people? We help people by, what is important is applying acceptance and commitment strategy. Okay, this is the situation. We have to accept it. We know that COVID has actually engulfed us. It can happen to us. And if it happens to us, how do we deal with it? So we commit to ourselves that we are going to accept it and we are going to deal with it. Right? So that is very important, to accept the situation, understand the validity of the situation, and then make a strategy for yourself. We have to start working on our coping skills, because sometimes our coping skills, basically it is the inside us which is important, not the outside. It is the internal locus which is important. So if we have worked on our internal locus, and I'm saying all this, these are not, these are not attainable. They're very much attainable. We just have to start working within and start working on a coping skill. We have to start becoming stronger by learning to cope with situation, and resilience, to bounce back. Okay, this news has come. We know that somebody has died, and we are unhappy about it, but we have to also bounce back to life. We have to learn to bounce. You just cannot stay there. You have to move on in life, and that is possible only when your basic personality is strong. In the midst of crisis, what happens is that your actual personality comes to play. When there's a crisis in life, when there is a problem in life. I had a personal crisis, and I but I have been a happy-go-lucky person as a child. So I kind of, be able to deal with personal crisis. Then I realized, how is it possible? How did I how did this resilience come in me? Then I realized probably this was built in the personality. So we have to start working on our personality. Become aware. Sometimes we catastrophe a situation too much. Sometimes we make a big thing of a situation. So, and we sometimes think that either we should be, there's all or none thinking. Either I'm very good or I'm zero. But there's something gray that you about you that you have to accept. So you have to learn in correcting your thinking, about which I will be talking at length. I'll be telling you what is thinking distortion and how to correct them, and human investment. That is the best investment we can do. At my age, I feel okay, you have to have certain bank balance, you have to go and all. But I've realized this human investment, if you have invested in human beings in the form of friends, relations, they are your actual capital. So if you can work with human beings, if you can, if you become friends with people, you should be confident to call up, to have at least, few confidence in your life. So can even 3 o'clock in the morning, you can call and say, see, I'm not feeling okay. Or like that girl called me up at 12 in the midnight and say, see, I'm not okay. So that kind of human investment is extremely important. And I want to emphasize upon this, because this will help you from creating, this will help people to deal with crises. Uh, we should also, kind of not expose ourselves to too much information. See, the media has to do their work. They have to sensationalize. They have to talk about it. They have to keep running this show. But if you keep seeing that all the time, it plays in your mind, and you begin to believe it is really. That's why I said that thing in the WhatsApp, that when I look at the TV, I feel I will not live. When I go to the market, I know there's no corona, but when I look at the TV, I feel I will not live. So please protect yourself. Learn to filter. The media is there, and we need to have knowledge. We need to know what is going on in this world. And that's it. We need to know that we have to wash our hands 100 times. We need to know that we have to protect ourselves with with the mask, with everything. We need to know that we have to make. But you don't have to 100 times spoken about it. But let's not overexpose ourselves. Delhi, this happened, there, this happened, South, there's a surge. We know. And if you, the news would more or less remain the same. So, and help yourself grow inward. When I say locus of control should be so strong, because you should help yourself grow inward so that you can deal with everything. The whole thing about psychology is not about changing the personality. Psychology is about helping people understand that, grow inward and deal with the situation, and then move on to another crisis. I always tell my patients, I see, look at the river. Look at the river. They go, but they don't change their way. They, when there's a storm, they change their way, but they don't stop, flowing. That is how Grand Canyon came into this world. That because the river did not stop, river kept on and on, and that is how river got the support of the. So this is how it is. Crisis can also support us. Crisis can also make us strong. Crisis can either disintegrate us or integrate us. Choices ours, right? Significance of enhancing mental immunity. We talk of physical immunity. We talk about, you should drink this much, you should eat this much, you should have protein, you should do. But what about the emotional immunity? Have we ever thought of it? If you're emotionally immune, if you're emotionally strong, you will probably be physically strong and probably be able to fight and combat the crisis. Yoga and exercise is a very important aspect of our life. Socializing virtually, like I'm doing with you, and it's giving me immense pleasure. I'm knowing more and more people. So off and on, socializing virtually is very important. Talk to your friends, talk to your relatives, unite with them, unite with your school friends, unite with your college friends. All this is going to make you feel so much more, that we're all in the same boat. Hey, let's enjoy, let's chill. So this should be the attitude. And then engaging in hobbies. Some like to read, some likes to do gardening, some likes to, whatever they like, listen to music. So continue with this. This is very important to increase your mental immunity. Impact amongst children and adolescents. Children and adolescents are also going to the trauma owing to shutting of schools and colleges, no social interaction, no set schedule or plan. Hence, they are prone to anxiety, sorrow, depression, post traumatic stress disorder, and grief has also surged, exaggerated and ambiguous fear due to lack of information. So children are also, because there's TV going on, children are also getting information which they cannot filter. Children cannot go out, children cannot play football, children cannot play basketball, children cannot meet their friends, children cannot, interact with their age group. So this too is having a major impact on the child's mental health. Staying all the time inside the house, you're stuck. And believe me, in India, the houses are not big. They're small houses. You go to Bombay, they're small houses. To be within the force, they become very cranky. Their learning is being depleted. They are not able to learn. You can't only learn from books. You have to learn from by playing in the garden. You have to see the clouds and learn how rain falls. You have to see the sun and realize what sun is. So children of the age of 2 and 3 are extremely affected, because at least parents do understand, but children do not understand. Why is this? So I remember I few children have been telling their parents that, see, I'm wearing my new dress and that park is open. I'm wearing my mask. You have to take me because now I have a mask. So children understand that, okay, mask is important, but please take me out. I'm ready to wear the mask. So this is how children are also very much affected. Okay, so there's something called positive parenting. I mean, children, it has to be parenting first. Parenting is important. If you can, you parent your children with effectiveness, children will understand. I always say, just as anger is contagious, calm is also contagious. So if you're calm, others are going to be calm around you. But if you're not calm, others are also going to panic. So as parents, first lesson, be calm. Please give, as parents or teachers, please give actual information about pandemic, you know, and not, not stories around it. ये तो खत्म हो जाएगा, चला जाएगा, इसको छू मंतर काली कर देंगे. No, be scientific when you are dealing with the children. Tell them this is how it is, and it will take time. Children can understand, believe me. Limit the media exposure, I've talked about it. Answer the questions honestly without making false promises. I'll take you next Sunday. Next day, when the virus is not there, I'll take you out. I'll buy you this, and so on and so forth. Have to make a routine for children. The students and the children need to follow a routine which includes academic work, play, and hobbies. Because this is only possible with children if you yourself follow a certain routine. If people, lots of people are at home bound and they're not following, they don't take their bath, there's no routine. If they have to be on the laptop, they just clean up their face and they just wear a shirt and a knicker down and they are on the laptop. No, create an office there, create an environment of schedule, create a discipline where everything should be in discipline, and a healthy family life. What happens is that everybody has a phone. The 3-year-old child plays on the phone. The 30-year-old father is on the phone. The 25-year-old mother is on the phone. So where is the social connection? So we are all playing on the phone, and believe me, I have also got used to it, and unfortunately, so when there's a WhatsApp, I have this instinct to, look. But when I'm working with patient, I tell myself, no, I will not do that. But then that kind of inner locus has to be created. Model calmness, I've talked about it. And please don't be the anxiety barometer. Because if you show anxiety, they're going to be anxious. If you show anger, they will learn anger as a coping skill. If you show frustration, they will learn frustration. And where will the coping skill go? That would be their coping strategy to deal with things: anger, frustration, and breaking things, shouting at the top of their voice. If you do that, if parents do that, if And if teachers do that, if adults do that, children are bound to learn that as a coping strategy. We always say that children learn. They give, God gives you mud, but you have to make a good thing out of it. So you can actually shape it. Of course, children are born with certain innate qualities, but a lot of parenting helps a child to shape into a evolved, strong, good human beings. Okay, adolescent symptoms are preoccupation with oneself. I have this young boy in my ward who says I'm ugly. And he says I'm very ugly, and I have to tell him that nobody is ugly. This is how we look at it. And then no, I'm ugly. I have to tell him the story of ugly duckling, where the duckling saw that I'm ugly, but actually he was different. The duck was different from the other birds. So and then insecurity is absolutely in rampant. Everybody is insecure. My patients who come to me, people who are talking to me on phone, people who are taking counseling from me, feel terribly insecure because they are either going to lose their job, or they're going to lose their friend, or they're going to be a breakup in their relationship, or there's going to be loss of friends. So there's so much of insecurity, which leads to risk-taking behavior like cannabis abuse, cigarettes, and other risk-taking behavior. Dealing with you must have heard recently about that thing about this boy who actually harassed a girl with the video messages of sexual content. Use of drug becomes very common. Alcohol becomes very common. So use of drugs and alcohol is a learned behavior to combat boredom and emotional changes. So the adolescents show a lot of aggression, anger, frustration, a lot of negativity. They don't want they catastrophe the whole situation, and they believe that uh, probably there's nothing for them. Then they start questioning their existence. Why are they existing? And then they do, and then they start getting these suicidal thoughts. So these are very common adolescent issues that we are coming across among adolescents. Studies take a back seat, and it becomes a mess because adolescents are neither close to their parents, they're not close to the adults in the family. Like a girl yesterday told me, there's no concept of space in my family. There's no concept of space in India. My mother, at the age of 30, I'm 33, my mother says, come and sit with me. Why should I go and sit with my mother? Can't you give me one corner to just be myself? A valid point. So parents do not like, they want to cling on to their child. Why are you going? Sit with me, talk with me. But then they don't give them the platform to talk. So the adolescent says, give me space. Let me think on my own. Let me have my own life. They yell at their parents, and parents don't understand. So there's also this generation gap, which is becoming more and more common. And even worse, because now they are stuck together. So I know this girl who tells her mother, I'm stuck with you now. So she says, I'm stuck with you. So, it's opposite now. It's instead of parents saying, when the children are younger and naughty and all, we say, oh, I'm stuck with you. Now the adults say, now the adolescents tell their parents, I'm stuck with you because I have to listen to you and I don't want to listen to you. I want my space. I want my life. And I have often seen my young son moves to the other room the moment I come in, because he wants a space. He wants to do his own work. And I need to respect that space. Okay. How to help adolescents? Again, the whole thing about acceptance-based strategies to help them become aware of present experience so that they accept their thoughts and feelings as valid and reasonable. If we are scared, it is valid. If we are worried, it is valid. If we are, it's valid. If you are scared about our future, if there's a question mark, it's valid. The question is how to deal with it. By accepting your feelings as normal and valid, it helps them to avoid the spiral blame that they get into, you know. And of course, the adolescence very important thing is resilience. There's also always a lack of resilience. This ability to bounce back in life, this ability to, yeah, and then help them build their self-esteem. We need to help them build their confidence. We need to help them build their body image. Sometimes the body image can be so disturbing. Like this boy says, I'm ugly, I'm so lanky. So I said, look at yourself from a different eye. Probably you are not. You are not. I mean, you always look at yourself as, why? Because his mother used to tell him that you're so ugly, you're so thin, you're so lanky. So that just sat in his mind, and he has been, he has been ruminating about it, and he's made it a part of his existence, unfortunately. So I always say parents are always nice and loving. Parents can never be bad. Parents can be only parents, but parents need to learn the skill of dealing with children and adolescents. Teachers can never be bad. Teachers are always good, but they need to learn the skill of dealing with children. And to learn that skill, you have to be strong inside. You have to learn the skill yourself. You have to be composed and content inside to be able to give that to children, and as parents, as teachers, as adults, we can only do this only if we are strong inside. Unless, if we are neurotic, if we are cranky, if we do not believe in ourselves, how can we teach this to the children? I, as a psychologist, have been healing myself every day by dealing. So when the patients come to me, I tell myself, okay, this is also going to be my healing point. I cannot tell lies to them, you know unless I have a conviction on it. I will not teach or anything to them. So as teachers, you will not teach anything wrong to your children unless you are convinced about it, unless you're strong about it. It is always important to be a good listener as a teacher, because listening not from your ears, listening from your heart is very important. Adolescents are crying for help, are are seeking for help. Listen to me. This girl who talked to me yesterday on phone said, I'm so happy you're listening to me. I have somebody who's listening and understanding, you know, because someone who's not judging me, someone is just listening and understanding. As teachers, we have to learn to be non-judgmental, because as psychologists and as teachers, we have to learn to be non-judgmental. Because if you're judgmental, if you're judging the person, you will behave with that person as per your judgment of the person. So first and foremost, as teachers, as pastors, as bishops, we all know that we cannot judge people. We are not here to judge. We are here to help. We are here to help them come out of their shell. So it's important for teachers to understand that adolescents and children need to be pulled out of their shell without being judged upon, with encouragement to develop self-esteem, confidence. These are the very, very important factors that we have to bring in. Okay, so what is the silver lining of this crisis? COVID-19, what is the silver lining? Is there any hope? We don't know. What is going to happen? We don't know. But the silver lining is that each one have started looking for happiness, calmness, and mental strength. We are not looking for a happiness outside. We are looking for a happiness within ourselves. We are becoming more and more evolved. I often ask my friends, tell me what is the silver lining, and these are the answers that I'm getting. That's what I'm sharing with you, as a person, because of being in the same boat together, finding means to deal with it, with this adversity together, is such an important feeling. It's such a beautiful feeling. If Amitabh Bachchan and his family can have COVID, everybody can have. Is what it is, a leveler. It is a great leveler, rich, poor, so on so. So, we are all in the same boat. It gives us enough strength. I have personally, I can only share with you very honestly. I have personally become more friendly with people. I have personally become more empathetic towards my patient, because that's the only thing we can do. A fellow person can give a lot of strength to others. So hand holding and assurance is the most important work that we need to do as teachers, as bishops, as psychologists, as everybody. So we need to do hand holding and assurance. Now with that, I would like to invite questions and a lot of discussion on this issue. And whatever I've left in my PowerPoint, I would like to talk with you. So, thank you very much for listening and bearing with me. I invite questions and discussions.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjeeta. It has been so wonderful listening to you, and with this PowerPoint presentations, we have been able to take notes also. A big round of applause for the lovely talk which you had. Thank you so much. And Before we take, ma'am, before we take the question answer, may I request Dr. Eva CM to please come on the screen. Dr. Eva, are you there? Dr. Eva?
Yes, I'm here, Bishop.
Yeah, please come on the screen.
Yes.
Yeah, please announce.
Yes, so good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So I'm very happy to announce at this time the results of the Class 12 Arts declared just a while ago. This is from the Meghalaya Board of School Education. And the performance of our school, I must say, is brilliant, and we're very happy to share this result with you. We have 98.57% of pass, and we have most of our students coming in the first division, second division, and we have 3 distinctions, one in the major English language of Khasi, one in education, and one in English, Bishop. So I'm very happy to share this with everyone.
Congratulations, Eva, to you.
Thank
and
you.
to everyone, all of our teacher who has done wonderful thing. Thank you. Congratulations to everybody.
Thank you, Bishop. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, friends, Dr. Sanjeeta is here with this good news. Let us go to our topic also. And if you have any question, please raise. So first person, Jyotish Mita, she has raised her hand. Jyotish Mita, can you hear me? You wanted to ask something? Hello? Okay, she's not there online. Yeah, anybody please, feel free.
Eden, what question can I ask?
Yes, please.
Please.
Go ahead. Who is this? Please tell me your name. Yes, please go ahead. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, Bishop, I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Can the concept of locus of control be explained, please, again? Locus of control. I would like to hear something a little bit more about that.
Yeah. Locus of control comes, there could be outside locus of control and there can be inside locus of control. Outside locus of control would be one is getting affected by outside, and in order to control oneself, one gets on to wrong. For example, so you have seen lots of people wearing rings and doing lots of pujas and indulging in lots of things which gives them the strength to go about in life. And internal locus would be a belief in self, a belief that we can deal with life, and a belief in self that whatever happens is basically, it's a mental strength. This is a strength inside you which helps you to deal with adversities.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
And some people are weak enough, so they actually get on to things they believe. I remember as a school student, when I wouldn't study, I would carry a tulsi leaf in my pencil box, thinking God will help me.
Oh, yes.
Carrying, as a Hindu, carrying a Hanuman Chalisa, carrying a Bible with you, only this will help me, and not doing anything about it. So locus of control is your internal strength, which gives you the confidence to face things and work for it rather than look for outside control.
Okay. How strong is that in children, say in younger people, as compared to adults?
It is a personality trait that one picks up at a very early stage in life. depending upon how they have been parented or how they have been shaped, into. So again, it's very individual, very individual. People who are prone to anxiety, depression, and people who are prone to some kind of mental weakness would generally have lack of locus of control, the lack of within yourself. And people who have been strong and have been seeing their parents, seeing their environment, seeing how they deal with it, they also learn and inculcate that trait. So it's a kind of a personality trait that we inculcate. It is actually missing among, from what I am seeing. It won't be fair for me to generalize, but from whatever I see this absence of locus of control among adolescents a lot more than among children, because children also know how to. Children have their own way of dealing. They filter, and they have their own way of dealing with. But adolescents become much more confused by the time they arrive as a stage, and there's so many burdens on their shoulders that they shatter, and they start beginning for power and strength from the outside, is what I would call.
Okay, okay. All right. So can teachers contribute to the development of this?
Pardon me?
Yeah. Can teachers contribute to the development of this locus control? Can teachers contribute?
Absolutely. Absolutely. By teaching them to look within, inward, and when there's a crisis and a problem in studies, building up the strength to work hard for it rather than depend on anything else. So teachers are the next, teachers are very important shaping. We all remember one teacher in our life.
Yes, true.
We all remember there's one person who broke you or made you.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So some teachers can, I'm with due respect to all the teachers, they can even crush the self-image of the child, because the teachers themselves are not sorted out.
True.
But if you are sorted, as teachers, if you're sorted out, you're definite good teachers, because after some time, parents are nothing. It's only the teachers. They look upon their teachers. Their teachers are, you do not know how much immense power you have to help to help them grow into a strong human being.
True. All right, ma'am.
If you're friendly, you have to be a teacher, and hence there's a lot of power in your hands. But it's important also to consider this, that if you are a friendly teacher, it makes a lot of difference, and like if I'm a therapist and I do not cross the line, I will not party with you, I will not have fun talks with you, I'll not have a social talk with you, I'll have a professional talk with you, but I can be friendly. Just as parents are parents, but they need to draw a line. You can be friendly parents. So teachers can be friendly, but not friends. They'll be friendly teachers. Similarly, psychologists can be friendly psychologists and not friends. That is how it is. Yeah.
Would friendly mean accessible?
Friendly means accessible. Friendly means, they view you as a person who's accessible. They see you as a person that they can go to in time of difficulty. Look upon you and go to in time of difficulty. Mm-hmm. But somewhere you have to draw the line in order to keep that authority. Once you cross that authority thing, then the children start taking you lightly. They're not supposed to take you lightly. So you have to draw your line when it comes to authority. So you have to maintain that authority and be friendly. A balancing, which really calls for a lot of patience, strength, and evolving as a human being.
Okay, ma'am.
There's so much that we can talk and go on talking. Actually, in psychology, there's no end to it. I would love to have more and more sessions, Bishop Ernest, with you, because there's so much of psychology with that, that they are so simple. If explained in simple language, so much understandable and so much kind of, doable for all of us.
Surely. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, we would love to have you more and more and more and more and more. Yeah. Yeah, please go ahead if anybody else. Dr. Sanjeeta, we have one problem. you know, that we are slow starter. We are slightly slow. So whether to ask or not to ask, so that hesitation is always there. But I will encourage Dr. Sanjeeta. She also speaks Hindi and she also speaks in very good
I
English.
speak Hindi, English, and Bangla, the three languages that I speak.
Oh, that's wonderful, wonderful. So please
No,
feel
but then,
free.
yeah, I mean, you can ask a silly question. I like silly questions. You know, there's nothing silly. You know, I'm always scared. Oh my God, what will he think of me if I ask this question? He thinks she's such a stupid dumb. But nobody thinks that way, you know. But I have this fear of asking questions because I think, oh my God, now they're going to think that I am so stupid. It's such a silly question. I don't even need to ask. So these are the silly questions which makes a lot of significant questions. So
Right.
there's significance there, you know, silly, you know, the so-called silly, which I don't call silly, but I also have this fear of asking questions.
Right.
And then, oh, I should, and then later repent, oh, I should have asked. Why didn't I ask?
Somebody said that every question is an intelligent question.
Every question means a lot.
Yes.
Means a lot to all of us, you know,
Definitely.
because it manufactures from one brain,
Yes.
you know, which travels to other brains.
Dr.
there's
Gaikwad
no-
is coming. Dr.
Okay.
Gaikwad is coming to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Gaikwad, please go ahead.
Thank you, Doctor, for a very good lecture. The issue before me is for teachers, we are taking online classes and we are very much subject oriented, whatever I've got to teach in my subject. So in a sense, we are still repeating the classroom framework. But today, looking at the urgency of the situation of students, children in their homes and the tension that they have, would it not be advisable that, as you said, to explain the acceptability factor, give them the mature information about what's happening. So there, as I see it, there should be a special session conducted by the schools in enabling the children to say, COVID and I, COVID and we. Would that not be a better way of enabling them to address the challenges and constraints that they have?
I agree with you totally. Children and adolescents need to be informed honestly about what it is. It becomes so much easier for us to accept and then commit to ourselves. It is so much easier and so much better because children they have the right to information and they need to be informed. And, yeah.
And then
invite them if they have worries and anxieties, and if they break down, invite them and have special interaction and conversation with them, how to start working on your emotional and mental strength.
Because that is something that needs to be done apart from the subject matter online classes. So that would help, in my opinion.
It will connect you to them. You know, teachers, you know, what is so important, I know, because I've seen teachers need to connect with their students. It's a pulsating relationship which is from both the sides. If the students respect the teachers and the teachers respect the students, the classes are so much more comfortable, easier, and worthwhile. It is not only for attendance, it is that connection which you have to learn to build. You see, when I see my patients, I'm always giving my example because it becomes so much easier for me to explain. Then I tell them that, then I ask myself, how much am I connecting with this person? And I can only connect if I can understand the cultural and the social and all the overviews. And if I only know what the person is going through, I cannot change the person. Similarly, you cannot change the students. But if you connect with them, you can reach out to them better and they can reach out to you better. I have very weird patients who comes and, you know, you remember, I'll tell you a recent example. I was quite flabbergasted because this person came to me, a doctor, comes and says that, look here, I'm not going to do any household chores. My wife will do. And wife is also a doctor. And so she's washing, she's doing, cleaning and all that stuff. And this man is refusing to. I wanted to tell him that don't do that to this. There's nothing like man and women. Both of them, you are supposed to work. Both of you are supposed, but it's very common in North India, this demarcation. Then I realized that if I keep lecturing him, he'll stop coming to me. I have to be within the cultural thing and, kind of accept this person has been conditioned like this. It goes in you have to look at beyond the person, beyond the perspective of just giving lectures. You have to see that what the person is like. Will my lecture help, or do I try and understand him and slowly and gradually, help him to understand? Even with students, you have to see the students in totality. And believe me, each child is unique. Each student is unique. Each adolescent is unique in their own way. Each brain is unique. So what looks like similarity is not similarity. Every brain receives in a different way. So if you're able to win their heart, and if you're able to if you're able to command respect, you can reach out to them so much better.
Doctor, would it be good to have sessions of introspection? We said that, okay, you've got to build your self-confidence. But could there be sessions where you could enable us, the teachers, to be channels who would facilitate self-confidence among the children?
Sure.
Can there be such sessions?
Sure.
That's another thought that has come to my mind.
Sure. But before that, I believe all of you are very well turned up people that I'm addressing. But before that, we have to start working on ourselves also. Yeah. If we feel our confidence is getting shattered or wavering, let's start working on ourselves, and then we work on the children. Then we can together discuss how to help the students.
Right. Thank you.
I can't hear. 1 second.
Actually, I was muted. Yeah. I just, one tendency in children which we have seen that, that they are casual and they speak a lot of lies for anything. If you ask them, if they are a little bit of not sure, so they keep on saying the lie things. And if we do not correct them in the childhood, it is going to be very, very difficult. So, but then at the same time, nobody likes correcting. If you want to correct somebody, they are very much offended. So how to tackle this situation?
Denial is a very strong defense mechanism which we all have. You correct me, I will not like it. Right. But if you correct me in a way that I can understand, so you have to change. If you see that this strategy is not working, then you have to change your strategy. Children learn to speak lies because that is what they have been seeing around.
Yes.
That is what they have learned because of their insecurity. Yes. That is why because they want to project themselves as best. That's why. Because they get a lot of rejection in the society. That's why. And there could be so many other reasons why people speak lie. We all do speak lie only because. But at some point, you have to change your strategies of very emotionally handling these children, talking to them, spending time with them, and, it's very important. And telling them the consequences of telling lies. At some point in my life, I told myself, whatever happens, I'll try my best not to speak lie. And I have stuck on to it. So this is what you have to teach to children. That all of us must have done this. All of us, you may have done this. All of us may have, at some point in our life, we have committed to ourselves that we'll try our best. There are times when one does have to escape from something or the other. Or you have to call up and say, I'm not well and I'm coming and all that stuff. But then you have to tell yourself that you have to commit to yourself. That is again internal locus of control. You have to commit to yourself that 99.9% I will not speak lie. It has to start very early. All of us have had that moment in our life. Many have realized and we have realized, no, we will not speak lies. So we have to talk to children and we have to tell them the consequences of speaking lies and the consequences. And we have to start working on the self-esteem and sense of security so that they don't speak lies. And lies doesn't mean, and they're also scared of the punitive attitude of parents and teachers. If I speak lies, it's going to punish me, so I might as well not. So you cannot have a punitive, and that you have to be understanding and understand why the person has spoken lie. If you extend your understanding, people themselves realize and reduce their, of course, parents have to pay a lot of, parents have to do a lot for this. They are the first teachers. If they do not speak lies, children generally learn not to. And then teachers, if they're not punitive, if they're not punishing, if they're not critical of the children, then, otherwise, where is your book? I don't know, where's my book? I lost it somewhere. And then lots of stories going on. So instead of saying that, see, it's okay, you've not got your book. It's wrong, but it's okay. You've done this mistake. I'll give you another chance. But tell me, why did you do this? So probably you're encouraging the person to speak without any fear. So that is how you can help the students and the children not to speak like this.
Thank you. Friends, we do not have much time. Maybe we can take last question if anybody wants to come. Thank you, Doctor. I think that we should say a very big thank you to you for giving us such a wonderful talk. And I have recorded the whole proceedings, and I will be sharing with other friends also. And it will be wonderful. Please convey our regards to Dr. Sudhir and Dr. Rupali also. And we are so grateful to you, ma'am, for giving us your precious time. We have been benefited, and we have a lot of prayer for you that you may continue to help the society, and particularly to people, those who are definitely in need. And rest assured, our prayer for you. And you have a home in Northeast. Whenever you wanted to come, whenever you feel, please come. Please come. Northeast is
Wonderful.
Your house. Always welcome. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Touch. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks all of you for patiently listening to me. It's given me a lot of satisfaction because I'm talking to teachers who are the builders of the society. I'm talking to bishops. I'm talking to people who are doing ample, immense contribution towards the growth of other people. So it gives me immense pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We will wind up with a word of prayer. May I request Dr. Rosa to please have a word of prayer.
Let us pray. God of life, we thank you for the gift of life. Help us to cherish this life in the midst of challenges. Help us to be reassured that each life has been created uniquely. Each life is precious in the sight of God, and each life has to be a blessing to the people around us. We particularly pray for our students as they go through the challenges of the coronavirus pandemic, being locked down, and in such situations, the struggles that they have. We pray that you would enable us as parents, as teachers, as leaders of the society to be channels of blessing, infusing the joy of life in the midst of challenges and making them realize that their lives are important for the society. We thank you for Doctor who has given us this lecture. We pray that you would continue to bless her, and through her, may others continue to find blessing. We offer this prayer in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
And now may the blessings of Lord God Almighty, love of God, and the fellowship of Holy Spirit be and abide with each one of us now and evermore. Amen. Thank you so much, friends. Thank you for your precious time. Thank you for joining us. And a very big thank you to Dr. Sanjeeta. A big round of applause to her. And God bless you. Thank you. We have been so blessed. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. And Bishop Highness, can I have some of the pictures? Can you please send me some of the pictures?
I will surely. I will be sending.
Thank
you. Thank you. Signing off, friends. Bye-bye. We will meet shortly with some new topic.